In our last video, we discussed why you need to understand the difference between assets and liabilities if you want to become rich. The quick summary is that an asset will put money into your pocket, while a liability will remove money from your pocket. We also claim that you need to acquire assets and avoid liabilities if you wanted to become wealthy. With this in mind, do you think owning the house you live in is considered an asset? Many experts and financial advisors would argue that buying the house you live in is a great investment. But is it? The house brings a lot of costs associated with it. You must pay your mortgage, insurance, maintenance, and so forth. Based on the definition, is it not a liability? And if it is a liability, is it a bad thing? What if we tell you there is a way you can turn most liabilities that you own into a money-making machine? What if there is a way for you to turn your liabilities into assets? Well, that would change everything. Welcome to Investing in a Nutshell, the channel where we explain the world of investing so that you can learn and start your own journey as an investor. Before we get into the details, we need to be clear about one thing. We are not saying that investing in your own house is a bad idea. For most of us, buying a house is the biggest investment in your life. And to be fair, it is one of the safest investments you can make if you have a long time horizon. The housing market has produced fairly good returns. In the past 30 years, the U.S. house price index has risen almost 200%, outperforming the consumer price index with around 100%. In Norway, where we live, the housing market has risen almost 100% in only the last decade. Therefore, it is not necessarily a bad idea to invest in your own house, but it is a liability by definition. You don't get any money in, and money is drawn out of your pocket every month for mortgage, insurance, maintenance, property tax, and more. How can we change this equation? Are there any steps we can take to utilize the house in order to get an actual income? Preferably an income greater than its expenses, and thus turning the house from a liability into an asset. In fact, there's several different steps you can take to create income, but it all depends on your living situation. Let's look at a few examples. Example 1. Create a small unit. If you own an actual house or any sort of apartment that is large, and you don't need all the space, you can create a small apartment unit as part of your house. This apartment can generate income in the form of rent, hopefully covering your expenses for insurance, maintenance, and property tax. For some, it might also cover the interest expense on the mortgage. That would be a great way to turn a liability into an asset. Money would go into your pocket and not out of your pocket. Example 2. Rent a room. Not all of us have a large house and can't repurpose part of the apartment into a separate unit. But maybe you have an extra guest room that you don't really need. You can rent one of your rooms on Airbnb and it will cover some of your costs, but maybe not all of them. The downside is that a stranger will live in your home and not everyone is comfortable doing that. Thankfully, there are other ways you can turn your house into an asset. Example 3. Rent out your apartment when you're gone. Every now and then, you leave your home for a substantial period of time. It might be for a vacation in the summer or to visit your family during Christmas. The point is, there are times when your home is empty, and this is an opportunity to generate income. You can list your home on Airbnb or similar services for such occasions, and if you live in a city, you might get a fair amount of money per day. Example 4. Be like Elon Musk. When Elon Musk, the founder of SpaceX, Tesla, and CEO of Twitter, was a student, he and his housemate would throw a gigantic party every weekend, taking an entry fee from everyone who wanted to join the party. They basically turned their house into a nightclub. This income covered their rent and more. They did not own the house, but could still turn their liability into an asset. These are just some examples of how you can turn your home into an asset, and I'm sure there are many more ways that you can be creative and find ways to turn your house from a liability into an asset. If you manage to do this, you practically live in your home for free. Yeah, you heard correctly, for free. This has been the case for me for the last 5 years. I have a small unit as part of my apartment. The rent from this covers all my expenses, including taxes, maintenance, and interest for my mortgage, meaning I live for free. Your house is probably not your only liability, is it? Pause this video now and write down all your liabilities, everything that pulls money out of your bank account periodically. The list can for some be uncomfortable and long. You can take comfort in the fact that it is much better to be aware of your spending habits rather than unknowing. Now that you are aware of all your liabilities, you can make conscious decisions on how to proceed. Truth be told, we are not sure if all liabilities can be turned into an asset, at least not legally. Your Netflix subscription is an example, where you could share your username and password with friends for a small monthly fee, but that is against the rules for Netflix users and is therefore illegal. For such liabilities, you only have two choices: remove them or live with them. You can cancel your Netflix subscription, or you can keep paying and keep enjoying the content. There are several liabilities, however, that you can turn into assets. Your car is a great example. It shares some of the same properties of a house. It needs insurance, maintenance, it often comes with a loan you need to manage, and it is a resource that you do not utilize all day long. The same way that you can rent out your apartment on Airbnb when you're on vacation, you can also rent out your car when you're not using it. If you live in the US, there are several platforms where you can rent out your car when you're not using it and make money. For instance, Hire a Car, Get Around, and Turbo. They have very different business models, so if you are considering starting peer-to-peer lending of your car, you should check out the different options. But that is not the only way to turn your car from a liability into an asset. You can put advertisements on your car to make over $200 per month using Rapify or a similar service. If you have a daily commute, you can sign up for Lyft or similar to offer ride sharing on your way to work. Be creative. Only your imagination is the limiting factor here. It is also possible to utilize your car in combination with your time to make even more money by transporting scooters for Lime, helping people move their furniture, deliver food and packages, and so much more. We don't count these methods as turning a liability into an asset because you are paying with your time. We only count solutions where your time is not the critical factor, also known as passive income. We will cover passive income in detail in a future video, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the like button. It really helps out the channel and enables us to reach more people and help them start their investment journeys. In summary, start by listing every liability and consider if there is any legal way for you to generate income from that resource without using time as the critical factor. Find your own way to turn your liabilities into assets, and you practically live for free. Then you can spend your income on new investments and start building your financial future. We hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you have any question or comment, we love your feedback. We read all your comments. Have a great day, and good luck on your own investment journey.